Question 454. What is the most unusual thing that you have crafted out of sand or snow?
I've crafted a pentagram in the sand.
Why are you giggling?
Okay, so me and some friends of mine, we were making, it was snowing, so we decided to make an obelisk. And it came out really well, but it got really tall, nobody could reach the top, so the top became a bit of an awkward shape, and eventually it started to resemble more of a nobelisk.
What's worse is, I knew where this was going from the very start, and I've never heard this story before. Did you add 2 circular orbs?
Yes.
Doorknobhead says a hot tub. Nerdy says a sandpeen. Seraphim says a penis. You're not a bunch of fucking kids.
I have just always tried to build the biggest, bestest sandcastle.
Well, as far as playing with sand, I try to dig as deep as I could in the beach. We got really deep, we got real deep.
Do you know what?
Sounds like a porno.
Deeper.
And snow, we there was, so in New York, growing up, we had really big snowstorms, and I remember we were able to dig a tunnel from one side of the street to the other. It was a pretty big avenue.
We used to do that too.
Yeah, and yeah, that was kind of the coolest thing we did with the snow.
You did tunnels.
Yeah. From one side of the street to the other, and it's a pretty wide street, so it was a big accomplishment for us. We were kids. We were fucking 8, 9.
No, I know it would be great. I mean, I think the best thing I did out of sand was massive channels of water.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening with the hole we dig. It ended up channeling, but yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I lived on the beach.
Okay.
Well, I didn't. I lived about 45 seconds from the beach. But the point is, I spent my summers around a lot of people. The beach was nothing to me. Like most people that grew up around something, it was. It's always there. It's not special. But I grew up. We live somewhere. We live at a beach that is unbelievably popular.
Okay.
Right, to the point where in the summer there will be thousands of people sat on the beach doing things.
I grew up in New York in summertime. It gets like that on certain beaches. So
what's interesting though is the kids or the people. There are people that want to build big sandcastles, and there are people that want to dig big holes. And it's really weird that there is this split.
Okay.
That one wants to go up and one wants to go down.
Well, with me, it's because I couldn't ever master stacking the sand. That's my frustration. To this day, I can't stack sand to build on top of it. I don't know how to get the right formula with water to make it stick and hold. So I just went down. I just started digging.
You need more water.
What about, Dave, the people that dig a hole and then build a sort of embankments and walls and crenellations around it?
What, you mean like a castle?
Yeah, not like a castle, more like a gun emplacement kind of setup, where you got a pit that you're down in, and you've set up defenses around it, and then all the random knobheads walking along the beach, you just laugh at them because you're safe in your sand fort.
Dave, you've got to look at the list of your regular guests here. We are the people with a bit of a tendency to dig holes for ourselves.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent.
Seraphim says, I was young, no snow here or sand to craft with. Doorknobhead says, really deep porn/philosophy. Same. The only thing we did with sand was bury each other. Only the head out. You had to free yourself from Joan. Never really did that.
Yeah,
I'll let that happen to me once, never again.
Was that on the beach or was that in the bedroom?
That was in... it was on the beach.
Linda says I'm not good at constructing things. We're not really talking. We're talking basically. I mean, making a sandcastle is just making a big pile of sand.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That doesn't have to be posh. It can just be a big mound of sand.
So basically, you're talking about a sans Celtic hill fort. We say sand castle. We expect it to look something like, I don't know, at least
No, what you end up doing
northern
is a
part.
massive mound, and then you put a little sandcastle bucket on the top.
Did you have to say massive mound twice?
Yes, 2 massive mounds with 2
With a little
things.
sandcastle bucket on the top.
Exactly.
2 massive mounds.
Do
Yes.
you
Oh,
put
so-
like a little circle around the sandcastle bucket?
You tend to use the slightly wetter sand. It gives that this darker complexion and textures it right.
Okay, and that's clearly for defensive purposes, of course.
Yes, very much so.
Look at Amanda's face.
Me every time.
I'm lost I've lost what's going on in the chat. I really am. Because Doorknob Head says, "Can you circumcise a duck?"
What?
Godless Granny says, "I have no art skills, but I can make a duck." Doorknob Head says, "With a potato peeler."
Right.
By the way, Godless Granny, thanks to the sub.
Yeah. Okay. On circumcising a
Notification.
duck, you cannot.
No.
They do not have the required parts for that.
That was not what you were. When we are discussing what you made out of snow and sand.
Also, why have more people not mentioned sand and snow penises?
Lots of people did in the chat, and Trainbeck just said a pair of boobs. Why were there not more boobs? They require more effort to craft.
Do they though?
No, not really.
I mean, they do if you want to have some artistry to it, but the basic shape is fairly simple.
I think they're easier to make out of snow.
See, in snow we had more room to build up, regardless of what your skill was. But when we went to the beach, it was always too crowded to build something. It was something that would always happen, step on it or water or something. So we pretty much dug to see what the hell was down there. And we'd find, like, growing up, like little crabs and shit that lives under the sand, and you bug out trying to chase it because you see it digging. It's pretty cool. It was more of an exploration
Yes.
than it was anything else.
And that sounds cool. Again, it explains what I've seen actually from some American shows, because you would have had this massive amount of piled up snow. And intellectual iconoclasm says, I used to snow cave in the mounded up snow from the snowplows.
Yeah.
Doorknob Head says, I made an igloo, although I never know whether to believe what Doorknob Head says. Santi says, an octopus with 7 arms. What the hell?
That's
Why?
not an octopus.
No.
Well,
It's a septopus.
It's an octopus with an amputation, you could argue, but
Right. Because then otherwise it's called a what?
septopus.
Sectopus, right?
Oh dear God. Okay. Just to annoy Caroline.
Can we just call it a fucking squid? Aromatic chemicals.
Right. Question 455.
I know what you're saying.
Fuck, Dave.
Did I what? Did I not do you?
No.
Oh, they already got me distracted.
You have an answer, yeah, is it?
Manda, come on then.
Manda, did you make a snow penis?
Fine, just go on to the next
Nope.
question.
Wait, answer the
No,
question.
come on, no,
No.
come on.
We all want to know.
No, it's super fucking nerdy.
Go on. Oh, it's even better. You actually have a real answer.
Well, I mean,
What was the real answer?
I was around snow more than sand because it was Connecticut. We were half an hour from the shore, though, so we were at the beach a lot. But we never really made anything with the snow. But I remember being at the beach with Angel when he was younger and trying to teach him the second law of thermodynamics in the sand. It was so stupid. He was like really young, but I was all, talking entropy to him and shit. And it was, yeah. So super nerdy. I fucking told you. Move on to the next question.
So you're drawing like equations and stuff in the sand, were you?
Mm.
You still
That's kind of cool though. That's kind of cool.
I mean, I used to do lots of messages and things. I'd be in there every day.
Are you still near the beach now, Amanda?
What?
Are you still near the beach now?
No, and here I'm 4 hours from the beach. It's done.
Are you allowed to make sandcastles in the bunkers?
No, we're not.
What about if you?
Do they get mad if you yell out the window? Like, 4! Like, do they get pissed off when they're golfing?
Go to the beach, Amanda.
Yeah.
And dig a massive sarlacc pit.
I think I'll just go overnight when nobody's on the golf course, and I'll do it in one of the
If you
traps.
dig a massive starlac pit and then like symbolically sacrifice an effigy of Mickey Mouse to it.
And do a crop circle around it.
Bring some like
I'm liking
tentacles.
Nerdy's idea.
And there, a big beak.
Maybe an effigy of Jar Jar as well.
How
No,
are we
we
back
have
at
a
Star
great
Wars? I know, I was about
No,
to
I
read
hate
it,
Jar
but
Jar
I can't word it edgeways.
I know.
You know who's in this
Friend of
film?
Hiker.
Well, you know Anakin hates sands, Dave. You know.
Right. Nerdy says, I think we need everyone to send in their best snow or sand penises to Dave so that he can make a compilation video to go with this question.
All right.
You mean, all right. I'm not sure I agree.
The good weather
Um,
coming up. Everybody to the beaches.
You'd do that in the name of art, wouldn't you, Dave?
If people sent me enough, yes, I'd do it.
I could pop down the beach. It's
It
an essential journey for sand penis.
is, but for competition.
You won't leave the house to go for exercise or talk to people, and maybe sometimes you get food, but you'll leave to make a sand penis.
I go to exercise.
Priorities in life.
I'll swing a sword around in the garden.
Right. I was going to say, you wanted my answer. Or don't you care anymore? I can move on.
I think your answer.
I did mention earlier that I'd made massive channels moving water around, especially in storms. I like to go down in the storms because the beach was empty and I could make fucking channels of the water flowing onto the beach. But I think the coolest things I tended to make were cars. I'd make something out of mounded sand. If you think about like an Aston Martin top. If you cut an Aston Martin in half topwards, I'd make that in the beach that you could sit in.
Wow. That's fucking impressive.
Spends a lot of time at the beach.
Pretty damn.
But it's not really. It's not really. It's a mound at the front, a mound at the back, and some walls, and a raised bit for a seat. It's not really that impressive, if that makes sense. But
If you'd done like an Aston Martin DB5 with an ejector seat in the sand, that would be fucking impressive.
Can you make the little guns pop out of the headlights?
no,
And the revolving license plate thing.
no. It was made out of sand. The engine hardly worked.
Yeah.
Well, I
would've
think you're
said
being
more-
creative enough here, Dave.
Was there any forests near you, Dave, or were you just all about the beach?
No, there are forests near us, yeah.
Yeah. I had more time in forests, trees, things like that.
I spent, especially in my teenager years, I spent more time around horses then. So I spent quite a lot of time up in the woods.
Yep.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.